Zand. And keep watching if you want to know how I get access to some of the world's...
Soy un narcotraficante.
Al Capone.
Si hay que asesinar, se trabaja.
Okay, you ready?
Rolling.
It's a very dangerous region.
Keep watching if you want to know how I got access to some of the world's most dangerous people and what went on behind the scenes of Kingpin Cribs.
Momento, por favor.
No pueden grabar. Sí, el otro día lo miré, no les dije nada porque estaba en chinga, pero no pueden grabar. Sí, nomás pues, se lo digo para que no se metan en problemas.
Okay, I can see the tigers. Oh my god.
My name is Ben Zand, I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I make documentaries about a lot of bad people, you know, criminals, kingpins, drug lords. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining how the hell I do that. How do I get them to talk to me? What's it like? And is it dangerous? I've been to Mexico, Colombia, El Salvador, Guatemala, Niger, Nigeria, Venezuela, the UK, and interviewed gang members multiple times. With a series like Kingpin Cribs, the whole premise is that we're trying to kind of see every inch of a kingpin's life. We see mansions, we see cars, we see tigers, we see girlfriends, fentanyl labs, crack cocaine labs. I want to see how much money you have. The spoils of war for these guys, which is really unheard of. They play video games, they like to have sex, you know, they like money, they like the nice life, they get cars. The ones who say yes tend to be the guys who are a little bit narcissistic, you know, they feel misunderstood by society and they want people to see it their way. In terms of getting a drug lord to talk to you, there's a few stages. The first stage is finding them in the first place. Quite often, people kind of assume that I just have a kind of phone book full of like Pablo Escobars around the world. That is not the reality at all. It's really just having a lot of very good journalistic contacts in different places. After a number of phone calls, you'll land up on a person who's like a fixer.
And I suppose they're gonna take us to the lab from there.
And they will kind of be the middlemen connecting us for that kind of initial meeting. They may have gone to school with these people, or they've done stories on them and they've made contacts over the years. The second stage of it is like actually meeting them for the first time, flying over there, not really knowing if they're going to show up, because these guys are, you know, not the most easy to pin down. So you can't speak the language.
No me gusta baseball.
You're meeting criminals, you know, like kidnap gangs, arms dealers, drug lords. So like, you're hoping the fixer knows what he's doing. Whenever I go out to do a story like this, I'm always nervous, and especially on the first day, because you don't know how they're going to react. You don't know if they're going to flip out.
All right, so today I'm on my way to meet a Lebanese arms dealer.
You know, I've had people get in my face before, you know, pull a gun out on me, pull weapons out, kind of threaten me. You're just kind of in this state of anxiety the whole time. You end up spending a lot of time just waiting in car parks. They seem to love meeting in car parks for some reason. And they won't turn up and they'll just ignore you the whole day. They won't even come most of the time. They'll send somebody to meet you. That person will then drive you to a location of which you can't record the journey, or they tell you not to record it. Then they'll rush you into a house, kind of all scary, a bit crazy. And then you'll just be sat there, guys with guns, balaclavas on, all looking a bit awkward. And then, yeah, you'll kind of just be like, oh, you know, kind of a bit concerned, a bit like scared. And then they'll come in and just like size you up, because they're just freaking terrifying. And they'll purposely try and challenge you. It's usually a pretty intense experience going to bed at night and knowing that you're gonna have to film with them again. I often push my suitcase in front of my door so I can hear somebody come in. Especially when you're in a place where like, it feels like they have a lot of control because you don't know if someone in the hotel is working for them and keeping tabs. There was dangerous moments in every shoot. I don't just wander into like Sinaloa in Mexico and say, hey, I want to meet up with the Sinaloa cartel. Like, I would get killed 100%. In Mexico, we got access to these fentanyl labs that also they use to distribute cocaine. We get there. This is quite an intense experience because they told us that the Marines are in town and they've been spotted in the area. They're worried they might get kind of seen.
Okay, you want you to come in because the Marines, yeah.
And I was like, could they just bust through the door at any point? We kind of get rushed into this house. There's like a flame on the floor for some reason, like he's like set a fire on the floor. I don't know whether it's for light or... So I was like, oh, is there gonna be a shootout? And in the back garden, there's like a vat of fentanyl and the fumes are really dangerous.
Yeah, you're saying we need to wipe the cameras down.
It's like one of the most deadly drugs in the world. Like a really small amount of it can kill a human. Just everywhere there's risk and you're just like, oh my God. You know, and he obviously like regretted having us there, so he then wants us to get out very quickly.
That was crazy. It's local.
So, pretty intense experience. There's a moment where Luis just gets pulled away. It's in the middle of doing like a master interview with us. So he just kind of leaves, seems really annoyed, seems really kind of like freaked out. And he's just like, I need to go, pulls off his mic and walks out. And you just don't know why. And obviously you want to, but you just have to accept making these films that there's going to be so much you never really get to understand. There was a guy behind the scenes the whole time who was trying to basically intimidate us. You know, at one point, he made us put blindfolds on, put our heads to the floor, and said to us that if we revealed the location, we wouldn't be allowed to leave the country. And then we get to this place where the tigers are, and I say to him, oh, are those electric fences for the tigers? And then he says, no, they're for the journalists, they're for people like you.
Para los animales.
Para los humanos.
Para los humanos. Imagine being an enemy of Luis and him setting these on you. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh no, I'm sorry, you can have it, you just take it. Have you ever fed any of your enemies to tigers?
No.
A story then came out a few months later about a Mexican cartel man who was feeding his enemies to tigers. In the UK, it's a bit more worrying because I live here. And when I do films here, it is easier for them to find out who you are. In Birmingham, I meet these two guys who are like, I suppose, more junior level gang members. They start telling me that they've got a kosh, and then one of them kind of starts getting really aggressive.
What is that thing in your pocket there?
What it is, yeah? See which one tries to go for me, though? Hold what you want, because you can record me chopping somebody. There's a keep it down, put out with the door club.
Don't record your face, okay.
Make sure, man.
For sure.
And like, I thought the guys knew each other, but then they start arguing, and then it all just gets out of control, and then one guy gets absolutely smashed, he downs a bottle of vodka, and then all hell breaks loose, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
You listen to me carefully now. You're here, yeah?
The whole thing is just nuts. Just thinking back, I'm just like, wow, what a crazy world. In the north of England, where I meet F and N, kind of two gang members who have formed this kind of brotherly bond. It's quite a sad episode, that one, because both of those guys seem to kind of just be looking for belonging, a sense of kind of camaraderie, and they found each other. And you know, it shows you one of the big appeals of gang life, which is just community. They found each other, they feel accepted for the first time, and they both kind of like depend on each other. I was like, I kind of get it. I think you've made a terrible decision, but I understand where you're coming from.
Look, get his hat. He's got it. Bring it straight through to here. Nice and easy, nice and slow.
So there's this scene where the guy comes with like 5 kilos of weed that he's just picked up off the street. So he gets this huge bag of weed, just throws it on the floor, lights it up, starts smoking it to see whether it's good quality.
Let's feel it, let's taste it. You know what, F? What a mate.
It's a tiny town. you know, little quaint, cute village, like everyone knows everyone. And these guys are just freaking running like a drug factory from it. I'm a guy who, you know, I'm from Liverpool, from a little bit of a rough place in Liverpool. There was a lot of kind of gang members, criminality. So when I go on these shoots, I'm just like, oh, it's just the lads from school again. This is the thing that kind of the reason I do it, because the world is so nuanced. You know, good people can be bad, bad people can be good. It's little things that surprise you when you realize the humanity in them. So like, you know, in Mexico, Luis, for him, his favorite series was Friends.
Mi serie favorita hasta ahorita es Friends.
¿Y quién es tu friend favorito?
Ross.
And his favorite character was Ross. And you're like, I also like Friends. My, you know, favorite character is Ross. And you're like, this is a guy who probably killed a lot of people. You know, sells fentanyl, like the world's deadliest drug, basically, you know, to like, you know, around the world. You know, at the same time, he has similar interests and he's just a total normal guy. The guy in Colombia, he loved football. And in the UK, he liked to renovate houses. He was talking to me about this new fireplace he's installed. And, you know, away from the crime, they are just normal people with normal hobbies. The biggest reason I do it is because I want to figure out why people go into crime. I always thought it was quite interesting, because it would quite often be similar people who would, you know, one person would end up in some criminal situation, another person would go on to do good stuff, and it's kind of like, why is that?
The trickiest thing is when it comes more personal, as if in your own family, like your kids, that my father thinks my son's a scumbag.
You know, they're all like, you know, young lads who grew up in semi-aggressive environments, in like poorer areas, where they didn't have major role models to kind of look up to. Now a lot of people are saying, is it real? Someone said, anyone who knows the game will know that a program like this is extremely fake. If you were neck deep in the drugs trade, you wouldn't speak to anybody. Like, I think we live in a world of conspiracy and misinformation, so everyone thinks everything is a lie. They're not actors. There's absolutely no benefit for me to interview some actors who pretend to be criminals. You know, someone said, why would you risk everything and expose yourself at the top of your game for a Channel 4 documentary? Most of the time we'll hide their identity, we'll hide the locations that we're in. It may look like we're showing their locations, but often, you know, we might shoot a different area so that you're not seeing exactly where they are. The absolute biggest relief of all these things is sitting on the plane home, because these things are fascinating in retrospect, but when you're there, they're just horrible. You know, you're so unbelievably stressed out. Would I ever want to be a kingpin? Definitely not. They don't enjoy it. It's a rubbish life. You know, they'll tell you time and time again, it's stressful, it's scary. They're addicted to money. They're addicted to the power, but like their life is not good. It is a horrific life, and I don't even think they'd suggest it to anybody. You have to kill people. You know, you have to constantly look over your shoulder. You have to surround yourself with very damaged people, because there's these kind of drug users, and you see horrific stuff, you're traumatized. So, you know, it is a shit life. And, you know, don't do it. That's the conclusion.